Hey, it's me, Big Boy Snatch on TV, aka Wakanda Schiavone, because I got playing around. As you can tell by the title of the thumbnail in the video, this is my AEW Dynamite review on high. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the entire video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button for more wrestling content I do on the channel, because I'm on the road to 11K before the end of May. Follow all my social media down below in the description, and go check out my WWE NXT review on highlights that I did on the channel yesterday. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, AEW Dynamite was a good show for what it was, and I had to give this show a 6.5 out of 10. Now, AEW Dynamite was on from North Charleston, South Carolina, North Charleston Coliseum. It's Wednesday, my dudes, and tonight is a good night for some Dynamite. We kick off the show at ringside as Tony Schiavone talks about the legacy of the late Ted Turner, particularly as it relates to professional wrestling. He talks about what Ted Turner did for wrestling on the Ted Turner networks, such as TBS, before introducing a man who is very familiar with this as well, bringing out Sting. The Icon gets a nice pop on his way to the ring, where he hugs Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone knows that Ted Turner was a big part of both men coming up in the business, allowing Sting to share some words. Sting talks about Ted Turner being an all-in billionaire who loves pro wrestling. He recounts Ted Turner going to bat for wrestling when executives would consider cutting WCW, telling the wrestlers to just keep wrestling, as he had deep pockets. There wouldn't be a TNT championship or wrestling on TNT or TBS without Ted Turner. So thank you, Ted Turner. Tony Schiavone turns the subject to Sting's protege. Darby Allin defends the World Championship tonight. Sting is excited to see that, especially in a city Sting is so familiar with over the years. He's also thrilled that another all the billionaire is involved in wrestling with AEW, thanking Tony Khan for everything. Tony Schiavone knows the side plate of the TNT champion and TBS championships, show the studios that help start it all for wrestling. With that, we get a 10-bell salute for Ted Turner to close the segment. This was a very good segment, but you should have all the AEW stars on that stage. But this was a good segment to kick off AEW Dynamite with Ted Turner passing away, which is sad, man. But it is what it is, man. So yeah, but y'all should have every AEW superstars coming out from that locker room to the stage to pay tribute to Ted Turner. But this was a good segment. I love this. The theme for AEW Dynamite hits before we return to ringside and quickly change over as Jon Moxley makes his entrance for our opening contest. Renee Paquette at ringside addresses the history between Jon Moxley and Juice Robinson as the champs arrived at the ring for this title eliminator match. Juice Robinson makes his entrance next, and the two got at it as we get things underway. So we get an AEW Continental Championship Eliminator match, Jon Moxley versus Juice Robinson. And I ain't gonna lie, this match right here, this was a good match for what it was, man. I can't even complain about this match. This was a good match. Both men trade strikes until Juice Robinson is sent to the ropes. Juice Robinson managed to fight back, forcing the champ to the ropes for some chops. This takes Jon Moxley to the corner before Juice Robinson sends him across the ring. Jon Moxley lands a shot of his own before being sent to the mat by Juice Robinson, who catapults the champ to the outside. Landing some more shots, he rings Jon Moxley back into the ring, but the champ is back on his feet, intercepting Juice Robinson on his way in. He stomps the hand before pulling at Juice Robinson's fingers, but Juice Robinson lands some right hands to fend Jon Moxley off. Jon Moxley evades the left hand of Goss as he leaves the ring, but Juice Robinson follows close behind to send the champ into the timekeeper's area. This forces Jon Moxley to seek distance from his opponent as he re-enters the ring, but Juice Robinson sends him to the corner for some mounted punches before taking a bite out of the champ's head. He lands a diving crossbody, but instead of pinning Jon Moxley, he continues to lay in some shots until the breaks away, escaping the ring as we go to commercial break. Back in the ring, Jon Moxley has regained control as he continues to work on the hands of Juice Robinson. Both men get back to their feet before Juice Robinson unloads some punches on the champ, sending him across the ring for a corner clothesline. He looks for a cannonball but gets blocked by Jon Moxley, who drops Juice Robinson to the canvas with a cutter. This culminates with a powerbomb, and both men are down, and we get the 10-minute warning. Juice Robinson fights to the corner for a big lariat and a cover, but only gets a 2 count. He continues the onslaught, but only gets another near fall before dropping the champ to the mat one more time. He looks for the left hand of God once more, wearing Jon Moxley down, only to get bitten on the forehead by Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley hits the ropes and runs into a left hand of God. Juice Robinson goes up top, catching a rising champ for another 2 count. Both men slowly get to their feet, staring each other down before trading strikes. This turns to headbutt from both guys, followed by an elbow strike. Jon Moxley charges at Juice Robinson, who sends him into the corner for a roll-up and a near fall. Jon Moxley catches him with a choke before Juice Robinson tries to break away, and this leads to a power driver for a 2 by the champ. Jon Moxley goes for the bulldog choke again, with Juice Robinson trying to break free before being brought back to the center of the ring. Bulldog choke is cinched in tight, and this leads to a submission win for the champ. The winner by submission, Jon Moxley. This match was good. This was a good match, and it was physical at the same time. Jon Moxley celebrates as we get a look at the rest of Bang Bang Gang teaming with the Young Bucks to take on the Dogs and Death Riders later tonight. But up next is Double Jeopardy time as Orange Cassidy faces Dax Harwood. So we go to commercial break. Earlier today, Death Riders continued to train with Will Ospreay, with Jon Moxley offering advice as they try to get Will Ospreay's neck right. Jon Moxley says Will Ospreay isn't like these other people. It's a privilege to be where he's at, this close to the top of the mountain, with just 1% remaining. He's on death ground. It's going to be hard, but it's the only good option. Nothing else exists except what's right in front of you. Pac cuts the camera off as the training resumes and Dynamite rolls on. We head back to ringside as the Dogs and RPG Vice accompany FTR to the ring. To be clear, Dax Harwood is the one actually competing in our next match, as the group enters the ring awaiting the arrival of Orange Cassidy. He is accompanied by Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong before the Young Bucks makes their entrance, as well as Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. They head to the ring as Orange Cassidy enters, and with all that, we get this Double Jeopardy match on the way. So we get a Double Jeopardy match. AEW World Trios Champion Orange Cassidy versus AEW World Tag Team Champions Dax Harwood. And this match right here, I ain't even gonna lie to you, this wasn't a bad match, but I might as well say this was a pretty good match. The two go at it quick, with Harwood taking control, but they scoop slam. Orange Cassidy fights back until Dax Harwood sends him to the corner, only for Orange Cassidy to fake him out for an orange punch. Dax Harwood rolls out of the ring as Orange Cassidy follows him, distracted by the presence of Dax allies at ringside. This allows Dax Harwood to take control, setting Orange Cassidy up against the ring post to attack his arm as we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Orange Cassidy fends off a superplex attempt on the turnbuckle. He sends Dax Harwood to the mat, but takes a shot to the midsection. Takes a shot at the midsection. I'm sorry. Dax Harwood sends him to the corner, but Orange Cassidy fights back. He climbs the turnbuckle, but ends up fighting it out with Dax Harwood taking a bite out of him to send Dax Harwood to the canvas. Diving DDT gets a near fall for Orange Cassidy. Dax Harwood turns it around as he sent Orange Cassidy out of the ring, slamming him against the announcer table before bringing the Trios champion back into the ring. Dax Harwood mocks Orange Cassidy's methods with some light kicks until Orange Cassidy raises to his feet to respond in kind. He hits the ropes for a drop kick followed by a world DDT that drops Dax Harwood down hard. Drops Harwood down hardwood. He looks for an orange punch, but Dax Harwood fends him off, only to be rolled up for Orange Cassidy near fall. He gets sent to the ropes where Dave Finlay lands a cheap shot, but this is only good for a 2 count. Ref leaves the ring to confront the extra people outside as Dax Harwood goes for the ring bell, bringing it back into the ring. But the referee pulls it away as Orange Cassidy lands a beach break for 2. Dax Harwood blocks an orange punch looking for a power dropper, but Orange Cassidy fights back only to be dropped with a powerbomb off the ropes for a 2 count. Dax Harwood tries to bring Orange Cassidy to his feet, but cannot. He tries again, hosting Orange Cassidy up, and takes a stun dog millionaire instead. Orange Cassidy punches connect. The orange punch connects, but only gets a 2 count as the tag champ kicks out. Dax Harwood goes for a cross arm breaker, targeting the injured arm of Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy breaks free and cinches a deep clutch on Dax Harwood for the win. The winner by pin for Orange Cassidy. This was a pretty good match for what it was. No celebration as Dax Harwood's amazing friends come rushing into the ring for a beatdown, only to be fended off by Orange Cassidy's pals for the night. Everyone but RPG Vice leaves the ring, leaving the pair to be taken out by the Faces. They stand tall as Romero and Trent retreat to the outside. We cut to a video package hyping up Rush, who is in action later tonight. We get a recap of what happened last week between Chris Jericho and Ricochet before heading backstage, where Chris Jericho says the time for talk is over. He's going to bring what he has to say to ringside, taking the mic from Renee Paquette to head out that way. Chris Jericho is going to keep this simple because it's Charleston. This is AEW, and he is Chris Jericho. He's done with the beatdowns and asks no demands. Ricochet comes out here right now. The men makes their way to the ring, and Ricochet has a mic of his own. He says he's tired to do. He tried to do Chris Jericho a favor by telling him to leave, but Chris Jericho didn't listen. He addresses the trademark Chris Jericho puts on a shirt, but Chris Jericho says he couldn't hear him over the crowd booing Ricochet. Ricochet says they can settle things here tonight, but if he brings honest, he's kind of tired. He's kind of tired if we do this again. What do the men get out of it? Bishop Khan whispers something in his ear, and Ricochet says it's a good idea. 6 years ago, Chris Jericho created his own match at Double or Nothing, and with this year event taking place in a Bulldog name, not in a building. I said Bulldog. It take place in a building named after an American icon and Louis Armstrong, an American icon, and Ricochet wants to deal wants to deal him a losing record in this own match. He runs down a fan before saying he wants to beat Chris Jericho in a stadium stampede match. But this last time Chris Jericho was in one of those, he had to pay people to have his back, and that didn't work out as well. Didn't work out so well. Chris Jericho corrects him on where he corrects him on where we were at before, accepting the match, saying he's either find friends or face them all by himself. With that, he drops the mic before laying Ricochet out, eventually sending GOA out of the ring. They come back in the ring to beat him down when he goes after Ricochet, but out comes the Hurt Syndicate for the save. GOA escaped the ring, bringing Ricochet to safety. Bro, I heard a rumor that Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are going to go to AEW. But what if Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods was to join the Hurt Syndicate, for example? Let me know how y'all feel about that in the comment section. If Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods was to go to AEW to join the Hurt Syndicate, how do y'all feel about that? Or they might go after the AEW Tag Team Champions to face Dax Harwood to face FTR. I wouldn't mind it. But anyway, back at ringside, Kazuchika Okada makes his entrance for our next match as he defends the International Championship. Brian Keith comes out next, and we get things underway. So we get an AEW International Championship. Kazuchika Okada defense against Brian Keith. And this match right here, I ain't gonna lie, this was a decent match for what it was. The two lock up and Brian Keith taking control on a headlock. Okada sends him to the ropes to eventually break free, only to take a chop from the challenger. Okada starts to fight back, but is brought to the canvas with a crescent kick. Brian Keith sends the champ to the corner, but it's just as quickly sent to the outside by Okada, who drops his challenger down hard to the floor with a DDT before we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, both men are back in the ring as Okada gets caught with a knee strike by the bounty hunter. He brings the champ to his feet before sending him into the ropes for a DDT, but Okada escapes the ring to avoid further damage. Brian Keith catches him with a spike DDT off his own before bringing the Rainmaker back into the ring, but Okada fights back for a backbreaker to regain control. Scoop slam by the champ, who goes up top for an elbow drop and gives the people the bird for good measure. He sets up for a Rainmaker lariat, but Brian Keith breaks free, only to run into a dropkick. He counters a Rainmaker with a headbutt and dodges a dropkick when going to the ropes, but Okada catches him with a back body drop. Brian Keith fights back, landing a Tiger Driver on the champ, who just kicked out in time to save his title. Okada retreats to the corner before taking a knee strike by Brian Keith, but the champ catches him with a tombstone piledriver and a Rainmaker lariat to take the win and retain. The winner by pinfall is still your AEW International Champion, Kazuchika Okada. This was a decent match for what it was, but I guarantee you at AEW Double or Nothing that Kanusuke Takeshita is going to take the AEW International Championship off of Kazuchika Okada at AEW Double or Nothing. And that's all I gotta say. Don Callis gives the champ a mic after the match, with Kazuchika Okada declaring he wants more than just the International Championship. He wants the AEW World Championship. So Okada's trying to become two belts. The AEW International Champion and the AEW World Champion. He's trying to become two belts. We cut to a video package highlighting another man who is trying to get back into the world title picture, and Andrade El Idolo. Later tonight, Darby Allin defends the title against Kevin Knight, and we go backstage as Speedball Mike Bailey helps hype up the regaining TNT champion. Kevin Knight commends Darby Allin for being a fighting champion, but promising he will win the world championship tonight before we go to the commercial break. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, backstage we hear the ops as Samoa Joe addresses not getting a response from Will Ospreay. He says he won't tell Will Ospreay what to think, unlike the Death Riders. He also asks how much of him will be left to be champion. Before addressing Hook's absence to say he is off filming a movie, Samoa Joe made some connections and he can do that for Will Ospreay. He also talks about being of assistance to Anthony Bowers and Kazuchika Shibata. He put his hand out to Ospreay one more time, and if it's not accepted, he will be put out a fist instead. With that, AEW Dynamite rolls on. Yeah, let me take a sip of my water. So we get the next match: Mina Shikara and Harley Cameron versus Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander. And this tag team match right here, I ain't even gonna lie. This tag team match was just okay for what it was. We start off with Chris Statlander and Mina Shikara who trade offense until Chris Statlander gets a near fall. Mina Shikara fights back, hitting the ropes for a drop kick on Chris Statlander. She gives a shimmy as Chris Statlander gets to her feet, making the tag to Hikaru Shida, and Harley Cameron wants a piece of Hikaru Shida, asking for the tag from Mina Shikara. Tag is made, and Hikaru Shida tags in. Chris Statlander refused to deal with Harley Cameron. Chris Statlander gets some shots in before Harley Cameron fights back, landing a head scissor take down, sending Chris Statlander to the corner. Tag to Mina Shikara, who gets a 2 count on the former women's world champion. Chris Statlander gets back to her feet, sending Mina Shikara to the outside where the two duke it out before we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, back in the ring, we see a double team where Chris Statlander sends Hikaru Shida into Mina Shikara with a snap suplex. Hikaru Shida is the legal woman on her team. She trades strikes with Mina Shikara, who lays out Hikaru Shida with a rolling elbow. Tag made to Harley Cameron and Chris Statlander, with Harley Cameron taking Chris Statlander down with a diving crossbody. She follows up with a DDT before heading to the corner for a Shining Wizard endo cover, but Chris Statlander kicks out at 2. Tag to Mina Shikara for a double team, and Mina Shikara takes Chris Statlander down hard for a near fall before Hikaru Shida breaks it up. Mina Shikara goes to the corner, but she gets intercepted by Chris Statlander, who draws her to the canvas for a two count of her own. Tag to Hikaru Shida, but Mina Shikara counters and sends Hikaru Shida into Chris Statlander for an errant knee strike. Chris Statlander falls out of the ring as Harley Cameron gets the tag, setting up for a swinging neckbreaker for 2. She breaks free from Hikaru Shida's grip on the shoulders, landing a backstabber. Chris Statlander intercepts her for doing anything further, staring Hikaru Shida down as the latter lands a Falcon Arrow for the win for her team. The winner by pinfall, Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander. And this tag team match was okay for what it was. As they celebrate, we cut backstage where we hear from Swerve Strickland about power. He addressed the most dangerous, the most powerful, and the most wanted as he shows a wanted poster featuring Bandito. There's nothing more dangerous than a man who wants power, says the former AEW World Champion as we go to commercial break. So we go to commercial break. Backstage, Bandito responds to what Schwarzenegger had to say by saying, Schwarzenegger is right. Bandito is the most wanted. If Schwarzenegger wants him, Bandito is easy to find. Brody King steps in to say, it's one thing you mess with him, but if he messes with Brody King's friends, there will be you know what to pay. With that, it's time for our main event of the evening. Back at ringside, Kevin Knight makes his entrance first. Out next is the World AEW Champion himself as Darby Allin. Darby Allin makes his way down to the ring, makes his way down to the ramp, and we get this match underway. So we get the main event of the evening. So we get an AEW World Championship match. Darby Allin defends against Kevin Knight. This match was fantastic for what it was. The two men circled the ring before locking up, only to break away clean. Darby Allin with a standing waistlock on his challenger, but the TNT champion Kevin Knight breaks away, only for Darby Allin to evade a standing switch. Test of strength now, with Kevin Knight getting the upper hand first. Darby Allin counters out, but that is countered by the Jet, who ends up in a hammerlock before dropping Darby Allin with the ankle pick. Kevin Knight reincorporates Darby Allin's handshake, offer but to no avail. They tied up once more with a side headlock take over by the challenger, keeping Darby Allin on the mat. Darby Allin gets to his feet, sending Kevin Knight to the ropes before taking the challenger down with their headlock takeover of his own. Kevin Knight rolls through for a near fall, but is taken back to a bad position. Kevin Knight gets to his feet, sending Darby Allin to the ropes to force a break. So it says right here. So Darby Allin on the mat. Darby Allin gets to his feet, sending Kevin Knight to the ropes before taking the challenger down with a headlock takeover of his own. Kevin Knight rolls through for a near fall, but is taken back to a bad position. Kevin Knight gets to his feet, sending Darby Allin to the ropes to force a break. Slight shoving contest between them, and Kevin Knight lays a chop in before hitting the ropes, only for the chair spinning him off, setting up for a coffin drop in a near fall. Both men hit the ropes and ends up taking each other out with a clothesline. They crawl to opposite corners of the ring, where Kevin Knight dodges the champ and to send him away with a hurricanrana. Drop kick by Kevin Knight sends Darby Allin to the outside. As we go to commercial break, we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, both men have returned to the ring and are in opposite corners, getting back to their feet to trade strikes. Code Red gets Darby Allin a near fall on the TNT champion, who escapes the ring, but takes a dive through the ropes by Darby Allin. This gets sent to the ropes as the ref begins the count. Darby Allin gets to his feet, grabbing a nearby chair to set Kevin Knight up. He climbed the turnbuckle, but is intercepted by Kevin Knight, who lands a chop followed by a hurricanrana that drops the world champion down hard to the floor. The referee is given out to Kevin Knight as he props Darby Allin on the announcer table for some forearm strikes and gets a crazy idea as he gets back in the ring, just long enough to leap off the ropes for a springboard clothesline that sends Darby Allin off the table onto the floor. That was a good spot by Kevin Knight. I love that spot right there by Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight makes it to his feet first as the referee talks to him, and the Jet brings his opponent back into the ring. He goes up to Brett's rope, but gets caught by the champ, who turns him over with a scorpion deathlock. Kevin Knight struggles and makes it to the ropes to force a break. Kevin Knight is struggling as Darby Allin goes up top for a coffin drop, landing on the knees of his challenger. Kevin Knight favors the knee as he gets back up, setting Darby Allin up on the turnbuckle, but Darby Allin knocks him back down. He gets caught before he can land a coffin drop and ends up in a trio roll as Kevin Knight goes to the adjacent corner for a coast-to-coast drop kick. Darby Allin drops to the center of the ring, allowing Kevin Knight to go back up for the UFO splash, covered by the TNT champion. But the world champion saves it with a kick out just in time. Kevin Knight turns him back to his back after getting back up, but Darby Allin crawls away, forcing the challenger to shift his strategy, and Kevin Knight walks into a front guillotine. Kevin Knight is fading as the referee checks on him, but he managed to get back to his feet to break free at the ropes. Darby Allin intercepts him here, setting the challenger up for a coffin drop to bring Kevin Knight to the mat once more. He follows up with one more coffin drop, and it's enough to get the win and retain. The winner by pinfall and still your AEW World Champion Darby Allin. This main event match was fantastic for what it was. This was a good, fantastic match for what it was. We see Sting coming to the ring to celebrate with his prestige as the AEW Dynamite portion of the night comes to a close. Now, let me give my honest opinion what I think about AEW Dynamite. Let me give my very honest opinion what I think about AEW Dynamite. Now, AEW Dynamite was a good show, and I had to give that show a 6.5 out of 10. But anyway, if you guys made it from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end of my AEW Dynamite review and highlights, make sure you guys please watch the entire video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content I do on the channel. Follow all my social media down below in the description, and go check out my WWE NXT review and highlights that I also did on the channel, and go check out my WWE Raw review and highlights that I also did on the channel. And I will see you guys tonight for my upcoming world premiere for my AEW Dynamite review and highlights. Right at around 5 o'clock a.m. right here on my YouTube channel. And I also will be going live tomorrow on Twitch for some Invincible Versus to play the story mode and local mode, and then show you guys some arcade gameplay as well too. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. I don't know what time, but I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys know when I go live on over there on Twitch. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated. Cause I gotta go get myself a haircut tomorrow. And then I'm gonna start streaming live on Twitch for some Invincible Versus. So I hope you guys will be there. Let's show love and support. Let's keep the hype train coming, and let's keep the win streak. Let's keep the stream streaks going. Cause I'm trying to get to 500 followers before July. So that's all I gotta say from here. So anyway, I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club, Bullet Squad, Too Sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too Sweet. Gang.